Hello there, and welcome to this episode of Force Ghost Conversations. This is your host, Anthony King, and this week I'm joined by Patrick Kottner to discuss the upcoming Mustafar Takes Los Angeles, a live stage reading of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. If you're a fan of the podcast and would like to consider pledging your support, there will be a link in the episode description for you to check out the various tiers offered. Also, please be sure to check out our TeePublic store to buy some Force Ghost Conversations merchandise. And without further ado, it is time to gather around the campfire for some Force Ghost Conversations. All right, everybody, welcome back to Force Ghost Conversations. Boy, do we have another awesome action-packed episode for you here today. We have returning guest Patrick Kottner, who you may recall from our episode where we talked about the George Lucas talk show documentary, which, thrilled to have him back on the show and thrilled to really chat about this really unique project that he's working with the folks over at Star Wars Minute and all them and just putting together these wonderful live stage readings of the movies. They've done Naboo movie for Phantom Menace and episode 2 Attack of the Clones they titled the Great Camino Caper. So just awesome stuff across the board. You can watch those videos on YouTube now for free, and of course we're talking about Mustafar Takes Los Angeles, which is the third installment in this series, and of course going to be with Revenge of the Sith, right? We're going in order here. So we'll have a link in the episode description for how you can get live stream tickets for that performance, and it is on November 16th. If you hopefully you are so swayed by this episode that you want to check out the live stream for yourself, and we'll have all the details for where you can get that in the episode description here, so you hopefully will partake in the fun that is Mustafar Takes Los Angeles. Now, this is typically the section of the show where we would do Cloud City Gossip. However, I've looked. There really isn't a whole lot of news that has taken place in the Star Wars and Lucasfilm galaxy over the last week. I guess they're just getting ready for Skeleton Crew. So that is my news, is that Skeleton Crew almost comes out in about a month here. So get ready for that. And of course, again, go check out Mustafar Takes Los Angeles, or at least get tickets for the live stream wherever you're at. You can watch it, and I think it's available for like a week afterward or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But I think it's I truly I've been to the Great Camino Caper. I've seen it in person, and it is awesome. So I don't think you're not going to miss out. I mean, you're kind of miss out by not being there in person, but the next best thing is actually being able to see it. And I think the live stream is a great way to do that. I'll be hopefully tuning in as well myself. Based off of my schedule for the day, I know I'm kind of doing a staycation, so maybe we'll see if I'm able to hop on. So we'll definitely be there to check it out for sure. I think I'll probably get the live stream ticket and then watch it the day later, just to enjoy all the goodness of it. So folks, that is all that I had for this episode, or not this episode, but in this portion of the episode. We'll be back on the other side of the short break with our discussion with Patrick, all about Mustafar Takes Los Angeles. Stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another installment of Force Ghost Conversations. And I'm so thrilled to have returning guest Patrick Kottner come back on the show. You know him from the George Lucas Talk Show and a variety of other things. But Patrick, welcome back to the show. And I'll explain what we're going to be talking about in a second here. But how are you doing, my friend?
Can I be called returning champion?
Returning champion, yes, absolutely.
I think
returning champion.
I think I prefer that. Yeah, thank you so much. An honor to be back.
So glad to have the returning champion back on this show. And we are here to chat about one of the probably the most unique Star Wars experiences ever, which is the live stage readings that you've been doing over the last couple of months here. And particularly, we have one upcoming on November 16th titled Mustafar Takes Los Angeles, which is the live stage reading of Revenge of the Sith. Now, you've done uh, two thus far, but I want to start with like the beginning of where
Yeah.
this idea came from, how it all came to be, all that stuff. So you're working with the guys at Star Wars Minute to put this on, and like where did the idea come from? Like what inspired you even to start putting these productions on to begin with?
Yeah, so it was actually the Star Wars Minute guys' idea.
Love it.
We had done a bunch of their shows. We had done their live show at Celebration. We being the George Lucas Talk Show guys.
Sure.
And I was friendly with Pete because we both live in LA, so we've been hanging out a little bit in LA.
Hmm.
And he reached out and was like, "We've always wanted to do a live reading of this. We've never actually like pulled the plug because it felt like too overwhelming of an undertaking." So we're gonna reach out to you. And I said, yes, that's how it normally works when people have too overwhelming of an undertaking. They say, I guess we'll have Patrick do it, which is the best way to live your life. I think it's great. So he reached out and he was like, is this something you'd want to be, part of? Is this something you'd want to actually like, help undertake? Because it's a big thing. It's a
Hmm.
big job and like a very stressful thing in general. So he reached out and I was like, yeah, sure. If you handle the script and all that, like if you can
Mm.
cut down the script and get it into a format where we can do it the right way, I'm happy to handle the casting. And um, pretty much that's how it worked. Pete would go through the script and trim out a lot of the, I don't want to call it fat, but a lot of the stuff that like you can trim out and you don't lose anything in the
Absolutely.
story. And these scripts are long. These scripts are like 130, 140 pages sometimes, which is like long for a script. And a lot of it is narration.
Hmm.
And if we're being frank, the narration is the least important part of the script,
Whoa,
especially when
now.
you're well, when you're there to see a bunch of famous funny people doing a script, you don't
Hmm.
really care when I am saying Anakin runs from the back of the ship to the front of the ship. He goes and talks to Pat. Like it sort of doesn't matter. So as much as we can condense that and make that like, a few sentences at best, which I think we're getting better at,
Hmm.
especially for this one and any future ones that happen.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I think that's the like most important part of the show. Almost is Pete, taking a hatchet to that script and making it into ideally 2.5 hours. Ideally. We have not gotten there yet, but I think for this one, I think this one will be shorter because this one has so much action and so much like exposition because there's so much going on.
Right.
And I've gone through it. I know this is the first one that I went through, and I was just crossing off full pages in red, being like, "We don't need it. We don't need it. Get rid of it." So I've not seen the current draft of it, but I think this one will be a lot more manageable than the other two. But that's sort of what makes them fun, is that
Yes.
they're a little unwieldy and a little unmanageable, and that they are 3 hours long or whatever. So we did the Phantom Menace one. We got an insane cast for it.
Mhm.
Haley Joel Osment played Anakin, and Tony Hale was Qui Gon, and Tawny Newsome was Padme, and Bobby Moynihan was Darth Maul. Just like a real insane murderers row of comedy and comedic actors and crazy, crazy people in LA doing this. And it went really well, and it was really fun. And I think it sort of exceeded all of our expectations.
Mhm.
And in the back of my head when we started working on it, um, I was like, oh, great. Well, we're going to do all of these now. But also, you're sort of relying on that first one to do well. And if the first one doesn't do
Absolutely.
well, then, there's not much of a reason to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holiday special, Ewok movie, whatever
Oh,
pops up, whatever pops
you're
up.
speaking my language here, man.
Oh, I
Keep going.
know. I know. But then it went really well and it sold out, and we sold a lot of streaming tickets, and
Mhm.
the YouTube numbers are very high. And I think it sort of pushed us to be like, okay, well then let's do this. And we did the Attack of the Clones one, I don't know, 3 months ago at this point, something like that. And the insane thing is it sold out almost immediately.
Mhm.
The live stream numbers were about the same, and the YouTube numbers are also about the same, even though it came out 3 months later, which is genuinely like to have that retention rate is really wild.
It's pretty
And
good.
they're also now the 2 most highest viewed videos on the George Lucas Talk Show YouTube page, which is also kind of crazy.
That's incredible.
Um,
Yeah.
it really is. It's really incredible. Uh, and it's been super fun. So yeah, we're, Revenge of the Sith is next, and I would argue it's the least fun of the 3 movies. So I'm very
Interesting.
curious. Well, do you disagree? Do you think it's a fun movie?
I well, I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching it the most of the prequels. Now fun, now when you say fun,
I'm
that
saying fun.
you say fun though, so now that I will retract my facial expression there.
Yeah, yeah.
Audio
I
podcast, of course. You all, listening at home couldn't see me. I was like, "Are you sure? Sure, the most
yeah,
fun?"
yeah.
But
I
yeah, I would say
I
probably Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace are more fun.
yes, I think so too. But I think it will make for a different experience, which is kind of
Yeah.
exciting, because it will still be funny, obviously, because of the people that are doing it.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know if it will be as silly and as slapsticky as the other
Sure.
2 turned
Sure.
into.
Hey,
So
yeah.
I'm very curious.
I mean, you never know with the cast, like the improv nature of some of these people.
That is
Like,
true.
I'll
That is true.
full disclosure to the audience at home. I was in the audience for the Great Camino Caper for the Attack of the Clones reading, and who would have expected Bobby Moynihan to come out in a full-on Django Fett outfit that he
Yeah,
made at home that slightly malfunctioned as well.
yeah. Much
you know,
much like the real Jango Fett
much
outfit.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So I mean, that's just awesome that this is continuing, and I'm glad to hear that like the the behind the scenes stuff is just so fun for me especially. Like I love logistics and all of that stuff, and I'm sure that this is, with it being the third time that you're all doing this now, I'm sure you've learned some lessons along the way about, are you talking about script, right? Right? Like, how do we get this
Mhm.
down to
Yeah.
a more manageable time frame so Matt Gorley's not coming up at the end and being like, this is 4 hours long. We gotta get this thing moving.
I know. I know.
So like, what are some like the lessons or things that you've learned along the way that you want to implement within this particular iteration of the live reading?
That's a great question and something I haven't really thought about. I think just getting the script under control is like the biggest one. Just because ideally we would like to keep these under 245, which is
Yeah.
what I think Camino Caper ended up being in the final edit that went up on
Hmm.
YouTube. I think was 245, which even that was a little trimmed and condensed
Right.
to like get it a little cleaner. So ideally, if we could make it 230 or something like that, it would be fantastic. Uh, I think the biggest difference that will happen is that, there's obviously new cast members. So there's
Hmm.
different energies and there's different vibes that are coming through with these new people who are joining the cast. And it, obviously it's the majority returning cast from the first two, but not everyone could come back
Hmm.
because of scheduling and because of, life just gets in the way of things. Um, but I think the biggest change will just be like seeing what these new people bring to the table,
Yeah.
because the returning people know what to expect and they've done it before and they can come back and be like, I know what the vibe is of this. I know what the tone is that we're looking for, all
Yeah.
that stuff. But just, working within the confines of the show to also bring in the new cast members and
Mm.
see how they react to the script and how they treat the, reading it. I think will be the biggest actual difference. I don't know if we're doing much different in ways of production
Mhm.
beyond like, Jason Voorheesing the script to death, hacking and slashing. Um, but obviously you will still know the script and you will still recognize it. But
Mhm.
we like to go from slightly earlier drafts of the script,
Yeah.
which is something that people have seen in the other two. Like, there's a lot of deleted scenes that we like putting back in, or just like weird scenes that got changed for the movie. Like, and anything that is different, that is slightly strange, that you will go like, "What
Mhm.
is this?" Like, we want that in there because I think it's more fun than you know you hearing it and being like, I know this word for word, I know beat for beat
Yeah,
what's going to
right.
happen. It's fun to like throw something in there to be like, what did Padme's dad just say to Padme's mom? Like
Oh
that
god.
kind of thing. um So yeah, I think those will be the biggest differences, I think. But I also expect more of the same. I think that's
Mhm.
the takeaway
Mhm.
from this is like you screw with it too much and it takes the fun away.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
leave what the people like from it, and that's
Uh,
the ideal recipe for it.
I mean, clearly the formula is working. The money is there to back it up, and like the numbers
It's
are
so much
there.
money, and let me be
So much
clear, it's
money.
so much money. I I just bought my first house.
We're
It's
all quitting our day
amazing.
jobs.
Uh huh.
um, I mean, it's so like, yeah, you're right. Like the tone has been set by the previous two installments, but I think it'll be
Yeah,
fascinating to hear like what the new blood kind of infuses into it, as you're referring to there.
totally.
And I am so fascinated about the script for this one particularly.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to dive into that a little bit more here, actually. So. Uh, and you've already mentioned you're doing like an earlier draft of this thing,
Mhm.
and I'm like,
Mhm.
how early are we going here? Did you have to jump into like, how did you find the script? Did you like break into the Lucasfilm archives to find a
Yeah.
version? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I know George was on set just like rewriting this thing daily, and in the evenings he was like messing with it and tinkering with it, and like, full disclosure, in 2004 I stumbled upon a leaked script online
Oh yeah.
that was pretty similar to how the film actually ended up, but there
Uh
were
huh.
very distinct differences that I was able to remember afterwards. Be like, okay, I see where that scene ended, but it didn't start out that way initially. And I know
Sure.
that you guys kind of throw in deleted scenes in there too, exactly. So I'm curious, how did that process come to get, like, is this like the first draft, a shooting script? Obviously it's not the final draft script, but like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
if you
trying to
can share any
find
more details on that.
for sure. I'm trying to find the exact draft that we used. I believe it's the one when you just Google Revenge of the Sith script because there's an internet script database that's online. I
Of
don't know
course there
what
is.
draft. Yeah, I don't know what draft it is. I believe it's this one. It's the first one that pops up on simplyscripts.com. It's 138 pages long.
Love it.
I don't know what draft number it is though exactly. It definitely is earlier, and there's definitely like a lot of slightly different things, or even things that I haven't seen in deleted scenes that's in there.
Mhm.
Like I don't,
Mhm.
I assume they didn't shoot a lot of this. Um, there's, I'll give one slight thing for people who have not read
Okay.
the script. There's a scene where Yoda goes into the swamp on Kashyyyk and covers himself in mud and sticks and leaves and stuff,
Oh,
and
man.
pretends to be a little creature in order to hide from the clone troopers.
We were
And
robbed.
it's so weird. It's so weird. Um, the one scene that I'm pushing for that is not in the script is the droid talk scene. The like they're outside the elevators and he's telling R2 to like bring the elevator up to them, and he
Oh.
goes, R2 beep boop boop beep boop boop boop. And then R2 responds and he goes, "Oh no, I meant beep boop boop beep boop boop. That means up, but beep boop boop beep beep boop means down." And he like makes the droid noises. I'm pushing so hard to put that in there.
It be
But I
there.
think
You
we
have
may
to.
just have to. You have to. It's crazy. It's so weird. Uh, I think we're just gonna have to like transcribe it from the video because they shot it. It's on a DVD, but it is not in the script.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like, that needs to be there. How
Yeah,
could it not at this point?
it's
Like,
really wild.
this is the thing that's holding the glue together of Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, yes. Is that Anakin can speak droid, and when he does it sound like a droid. That is it's the real key to getting into Anakin's psyche in that moment, and it's
Mhm.
something that I feel like they cut it out and now the script doesn't make sense, but they should have brought it back in Clone Wars. It
They
should be in
should've.
every movie. Is that one Jedi can perfectly mimic electronic droid beeping.
Forget I have a bad feeling about this. The droid sounds need to be
Uh-huh.
the
In
running
every
gag
movie.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, forget 3PO and R2 appearing in the films as well. Like, someone needs to
Uh-huh.
be talking to them. If they're gonna be
It would
there, someone needs to be doing that.
It is the weirder version of in Phantom Menace how Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan can just run really fast in one scene,
Yeah,
and
and it
then they
never
never
happens
ever
again.
talk about it again. It's the exact same thing where you're like, "Wait, what did he just do? Why did they never bring that up ever again?" So we'll see if it makes the cut, but I just want everyone to know that I'm fighting very hard for it.
Well,
I
I
wish I
think
knew
I could
what draft this script was, though.
I can speak for myself and hopefully all the listeners saying that we are fully behind you. You have an army of people behind you,
Uh-huh.
a clone army, if you will, of of support in this endeavor. Um,
Yes.
and particularly to the aspect of the show that you have more of a hand in, I guess, is I want to talk a bit about like the casting here and that kind of whole process and kind of what your brain is thinking through when you're like, holy crap, I have to cast a whole basically movie for
Yeah.
this endeavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And uh, you know, I think that having been in the audience and seen the magic made in front of all of us,
Hmm.
I can say that like it's such a unique production. It blows your mind. Like I don't know if the if it portrays, it conveys to the people watching on the live stream, but when you're in that room, uh, I was just blown away entirely. And basically, like I'd watched the Naboo movie before coming to
Hmm.
the actual Great Camino Caper, and when I sat down in my chair, and of course the Dynasty Typewriter chairs like leaned back,
The
and
scoop.
I
Yeah.
thought I had broken the chair, and clearly
Uh-huh.
I had not. I was like, oh my gosh, I've ruined everything. Um, then you're just the music and the production value and all that stuff. I mean, I thought I knew what I was coming in here for, and I got something slightly different from that, and I was like, this is even better than what I ever
Oh,
anticipated.
that's great. I love
Um,
hearing that.
so, and I think that partially stems from the excellent job that the performers undertake in making this thing a reality and really giving the read in a way a voice.
Mhm.
So I guess what goes into your process for casting these live reads? Are you like are automatically I know this person is perfect for this role? Um, this person has been begging to be on this. I got to get them in the show somehow. I don't know, like
That is true.
how
Yeah.
does how does this kind of work out on your end?
Yeah, I mean, I think look, I know these movies so well,
Yeah,
and I've
yeah, and,
seen them
you're a big
so
fan,
many
and you want
times.
them to be given good due
Absolutely.
diligence and justice. Yeah,
But if you're like, "Okay, Tion Medon, we gotta cast Tion Medon," I'm like, "Okay, great. I have 8 people who could be Tion Medon in my head," you know? Um, and I think this is what happens. This is how it works. Like, you have to think like that is like,
someone
"Okay,
needs to
I've
be
got
Captain Tarful. We're ready.
Yes, yes, immediately. It's like, but even down to like, San Hill or Wat Tambor or
Yeah,
someone like that, where it's like one line, and you're like, oh, I bet like Hal would do a good job there. I
yeah,
bet Gorley
he
would do a
would.
good job there. The nice thing about those shows is a lot of people want to come back for them, from
Hmm.
the first one to the second one to the third one.
Yeah.
So I have this little built-in group of players where I'm like, well, these guys are going to play 7 characters each because all of their characters have one line, you know?
Yep.
And it works really nice because like I know who Gorley can do, I know who Hal Lublin can do, I know who Jeremy can, like that kind of
Hmm.
stuff
Hmm.
is very helpful. But then you get into the bigger parts and like um for example, Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like switching. I like switching up Palpatine. Both times have been a new Palpatine. Spoiler alert: this time is also going to be a new Palpatine because
Ooh.
Nina's not available, but wants to come back in the future again.
Hmm.
So hopefully that will happen down the road. But had to find a new Palpatine. I came up with a list of like 20 names where I was like,
Hmm.
any of these people could be Palpatine, and found someone that's great, and it's
Perfect.
someone who makes sense, but also probably would not be your first choice. But also, when you think about it, you're like, oh, but obviously that's the person who should be doing this. And that is exciting for me. The majority of time it has been first choice
Mm.
people that get in there.
Yeah.
It has been like, let me just try and ask this person. Great, they're available. And if it's not first choice, it's rare that people are saying no. It's more often that they're like, I'm in New York that date. I'm in Las Vegas that date. I'm in
Yeah.
whatever. They're not in town or they're filming or something like that. So that's always a nice feeling of like, I'm not getting flat out no's. It's, oh man, tell me about the next one. I just can't
Right.
do this one. Um, but it is a very weird thing to like try to cast all of these weird aliens or weird creatures or like boring senators with your friends. Just being like, oh yeah, that person would be a good X. I don't know why. This is just my gut that is saying this.
Hmm.
I think they will be good.
Hmm.
And that's what the majority of it is it's just a gut feeling. It's just like,
Yeah.
I think this person can pull that off, even though they've never played a character like that, or even though they don't give, two craps about Star Wars at all. If I can talk them into this, I think they will be good at it. And so far it's worked,
I
So
can attest that. Yes, it has worked
yeah,
so far, and
yeah, yeah,
I have full confidence in your abilities. Based off of the previous two iterations, I
yeah.
have no doubt that everyone will knock it out of the park again.
But it's also okay when people say no because I'm like, that's fine. We hypothetically have like seven more of these,
Sure. Yes,
you know?
and many
So
more, and many more to come.
yeah, 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 yeah. And eventually I want to do just non Star Wars live reads too. Whether it's movies that you know and love, or like unproduced sequels to a movie that never
Oh
happened, or something like
gosh,
that.
how
That's the
incredible!
goal. I have a couple in mind where I'm like, oh, I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I would like to do some unproduced
Hmm.
screenplay from the 90s of a classic movie that they were like really trying to get off the ground and it just didn't happen. So things like that are also, uh, you know, knowing that I have all these things in the back pocket for the future, being like, that's fine, you can't do this one. We've got so many more down the road.
Yeah, yeah. How long is your running Google Doc of
It's
of
it's
people?
getting there. It's getting there. It's I mean, look, I've been doing this for this maybe like 2 weeks ago was my 10-year anniversary of being a
Oh,
booker.
congrats!
Thank you. So it's been a lot, and I'm exhausted. Can you tell?
Yeah,
And but you come up with this like Rolodex of people throughout the years
yeah.
of like,
You know who you can trust.
yeah, I did ASCAT at New York and LA for like 10 years at this point, and it's at least one, sometimes two shows a week. So I've done like
Hmm.
600 shows just there.
Yeah.
So, you meet a lot of different people and a lot of weird people, and like you never know when someone that you booked 7 years ago is going to be the perfect person to slot in on another show. And I think that has been very helpful with this thing and with a lot of other stuff that I do. Is just like, oh yeah, remember that one guy? He'd be perfect for this. And
Yeah.
it's nice to like have that relationship already and be like, we did something together a couple years ago. You might not remember it, but here's a reminder. Do you want to do this weird thing? And I think people like doing stuff, and people like having fun and doing things that they don't normally get to do. So
Hmm.
it's I don't know. It's cool. It's
I
cool.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, and I just would love to see what the email looks like, where you're like, "Hey, we talked once 7 years ago. I think you'd be awesome to play this clone named Oddball who has 1 second of screen time in this movie that blows up and
Oh,
goes ah."
oh, but he's got more screen time in that script. Let me tell you that.
Oh my
Oddball's got a
gosh!
bunch of lines.
What script do we have, ladies and
It's
gentlemen?
it's an early script, guys.
Oh wow. Who we all think we know Revenge of the Sith, but do
Mm-mm,
we? Do we really?
mm-mm.
I don't think
Who
so.
who's ready for Ayla Sakura's 2 lines?
I did know that she had some
Yeah,
lines now, apparently.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Amy Allen was at a convention I was at, and she was like, "Hey, I actually recorded lines. It's done. It's on film.
Can I give a little scoop?
You can. I love a scoop."
I tried to get Amy Allen, and she's
Oh,
out of town that day, and she was
oh,
so bummed about it.
oh.
I was like, "Now is your chance to come give your 2
Amy,
lines."
Amy, this
Yeah,
is. Oh,
I
can
know,
she like zoom in?
I know, I know.
Like, call in. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh! If
something.
only. If only.
If
Oh.
only. Next time.
Anywho, anywho, so like I was saying before, at least for the audience, being in person is a truly magnificent experience for one of these things. Of course, the tickets are all sold out, but maybe a listener or two is planning to be there on the 16th, which
Mhm.
good for you guys. You won the lottery. You you got a ticket in, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Um, Now there was a good amount of audience participation, both in terms of laughter and all that, but there was also a particular scene where we all got to put
Mm.
almost
Mhm.
lightsabers in the air, which
Mhm.
was a truly unique experience. I think we were all looking forward to as members of the audience to be like, all right, is it time? Are we ready to rock? This
Yeah.
party's over. There we go. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so, without giving anything away, perhaps,
Yeah.
will there be any audience participation in this iteration?
To be honest with you, we haven't talked about it yet. I'm sure there will be something because we brought something into the other 2. But I do you have any ideas?
Oh, do I have any ideas? Interesting. May I don't. Well, first thing that comes to mind immediately is perhaps something with when Palpatine is giving the ultimate
Mhm.
you know, liberty dies with thunderous applause
Yeah.
kind of speech and everyone will be doing a rousing applause anyways
Yeah.
probably in
Yeah.
regards to that, but just hyping that up a bit more. I don't know how that's the
Interesting.
first thing that comes to mind
Yeah,
is
yeah,
everyone
yeah. No,
standing
that's
up and
good.
giving a standing ovation for
Yeah,
Palpatine
that's
creating
a
the
good
new
idea.
empire. So feel free
That
to
is
use that
that
one.
No, I like that. That is a good idea. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's fun and it keeps the audience engaged, especially when the show is so long. Like, it's nice to have something to look forward to for them.
Hmm, hmm.
That last one is so cool, and the shot of everyone, picking up their lightsabers is so
Yeah,
great.
it was great.
Yeah, so I would like to keep doing stuff like that because I think it makes it more than a show.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, absolutely.
when you get to involve people in it, it becomes more of an experience than a show, and I think that that's exciting for people and for us too.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, the lady beside me was she accidentally made made her glow stick go within like the first 5 minutes, and she was like, "Oh, I've ruined everything. It's over. it, it's over. We're calling it a day." I
That's
was like,
really
"It's
funny.
okay. It's okay. It'll still probably be lit by the time we need
Yeah, yeah,
it." uh, Yeah, I'll have to ponder where else can there potentially
yeah. Think
be
about it.
more installment, a more a place that people can. I don't know why, but my brain is just going to like someone should give like Palpatine a bouquet of roses, uh, once he
That is,
proclaims the Empire because like he's
I
finally
like that.
won everything that he's done is he's accomplished everything. It's
That's very
he
funny.
should get his flowers for this.
I like
Uh,
that. That's
um,
funny.
okay, I'll ponder some more
Yeah,
on that
think
one.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure
Um,
there will be something, it's just we've not had the conversation yet.
yeah,
Because 'Cause we're getting
you got some
close,
time
but
yet.
we still have time.
There's a lot. Yeah, you gotta
A
announce
lot
some
of
cast
these shows
before.
Yes, a lot of these shows are ordering stuff week of because we think of something insane, you
Hey, I
know?
mean, then that's how it should be, right?
Yeah,
No idea is too precious, and
yeah,
you think of something in the shower or 2 a.m.
yeah,
You wake up in cold sweat and you go, "Huh,
yeah.
we got to do this."
Even down I don't even know if people notice this, my girlfriend, plays R2-D2 in these,
Oh,
because
really? Awesome.
we need someone to
Someone's got to do
hold
it.
and move and make noise for R2-D2 and stuff. And, like, the day before we realized that we needed someone to be R4, that's Obi-Wan's
Hmm,
droid?
hmm. Yep,
Uh, and we were like, "Well, we don't have another R2 that we can use for R4." So we just had her switch hats, and one said R2 and one said R4, and it
yep.
was literally, like, that afternoon we went to Michael's, we, like, had to spray paint hats and, like, all this stuff, but that's how it works, you know?
It's
It's
show
just like,
business.
that's show business, and we sometimes you have to, like, wear a spray painted hat that is, like, sort of wet still, during
Oh,
the show.
woof, woof. And hopefully you kept the hat because I think R4 has a
I
brief moment,
believe. Yes,
a brief
yes,
moment to scream,
a
and
glorious death scene, yeah.
yes, the buzz droids will have
Yes,
their day in the sun.
yes.
Well, this brings me to a question I've. This is probably the question I've been most anticipating here of my list that I have here for you. But
Mhm,
like knowing that Revenge of the Sith was coming,
mhm,
I think for a lot of fans, this is like a cream of the crop Star Wars film, with
mhm,
lots of fun and moments that could be extrapolated for comedic effect or just tongue in
mhm,
cheek, the way that it's presented, etc. But like, what line or moment are
mm.
you most looking forward to being read during Mustafar Takes Los Angeles?
That's a great question. That's a great question, let me think. Hang on, my earphone just came out. Um, I think something I'm gonna talk for a second while I think of
Go
an
ahead,
answer.
riff.
I think something that I like about doing these is that a lot of the people who do them don't know all the memes and the things that have been
Hmm.
said to death online.
Yes,
So some of the scenes are not played with like the wink wink nudge nudge,
sure.
and I like that because I'm like, what is your interpretation of this, not knowing that, Darth Plagueis speech is like
Mm,
internet
yes.
copy pasta at this point, you know?
Oh,
Um, so as excited as I am to like hear the person playing Palpatine do that, I'm also like, what weird spin is he going to put on it? I
mhm,
truly
mhm.
think, and I hate to bring it up again. I want that scene where Anakin speaks like a droid. Like that is what I want, and
Look,
that's what
you're
I'm excited to
manifesting it.
hear. Yes, yes, I'm manifesting that. I'm very excited for it. I'm also excited to just like see Order 66 play out, and like very
Mm.
curious to see how that all goes down. Because it is this weird montage of stuff,
Yeah, that'd be
and
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm
A lot of
curious.
people
We
getting
don't
up and down quickly.
Yeah. We don't do rehearsals, and we don't go through the script with anybody. So it is
As
sort
it
of
should
just like
be.
a I think that is how it should be.
Yeah.
I think rehearsing it will, kill the spontaneity of it, and I like seeing how people interpret things on their own.
Yeah.
Um,
And you get
so I
unintentional humor too of, like, the page
Totally.
flippings and all that stuff, and
Yes,
people like, "Where's my
100%.
line at? I don't even know.
Yes.
Who did
Yeah.
this
You forgot to
binder?"
highlight my
Yeah.
line. Yeah. You highlighted all 300 other of my lines, but not this one.
Yeah, like, in this
Um,
whole 300-page document, I think it's okay to miss
yes.
one.
Yes, and there's 19 scripts or whatever,
"I
so
did this last
so
night. Give me a break."
so sorry. So I think that, yeah, Order 66 and that weird droid speak scene, I think, are the 2 that I'm looking forward to the most, but also it's the things that I'm not expecting are the
Right.
things that are my favorite, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
So, I don't know. I don't know is the short
Yeah.
answer,
Yeah.
and, I think the thing that I will like the most at the end will be something that I didn't expect and didn't see being actually funny.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, it's always, like, the unintentional intentional stuff that's, like, ad-libbed in a way, like someone throwing
Yeah,
an extra
totally.
word in there, a delivery of line.
Yeah.
I think the thing with this too is, like, there's acting as well to it,
Mhm.
so, like,
Mhm.
pulling from the Great Camino Caper, Obi-Wan going to the bar and tossing the hair back, right? Like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stuff, like, you just don't
Yeah.
get that if it were
No.
just a pure radio drama.
100%. 100%. And you just never know what people are going to bring to it. And people like Vic, who plays Obi-Wan, are so funny and so in the moment in the script and not thinking about
Mhm.
other things, or at least not visually looking like they're thinking about other things. They feel like
Yeah.
they're there living in it. And that is always exciting because I don't even think Vic knows some of the stuff that they're going to do when they're doing it. So when it happens, it sometimes feels like it catches them off guard too, and that is always
Mhm.
very funny to me.
So I have 2 moments that I'm particularly looking forward to. So I will
Yeah,
be watching the live stream, whether it's live that night or some point during the week when I'm able
yeah,
to
yeah,
view
yeah.
it on my own. Um, I'm most looking forward to probably like as Star Wars fans, when you rewatch these things, there are those things that you look forward to. It's, most people, if you told them you're looking forward to this scene, they'd be like, "What are you talking about? Who cares about that? Why is this even important to you?"
Yeah.
Um, and for me, actually, no, it's three scenes. So I'll rattle them off here. So one is like the super battle droids having a conversation with each other while R2 is trying to be
Mhm.
hidden and doing a horrible
Yeah.
job of being hidden too while Obi-Wan's trying to get his attention, like this them two super battle droids having a conversation in the midst of
Mhm.
this great war that's happening on. I'm just like, okay, that tracks. That's Star Wars. They're gonna
Mhm.
do that. So
Yeah.
looking forward to that, unintentionally for the humor of it. But the other two, so the next one I guess is when Palpatine is declaring Anakin as Darth Vader, and he's just kind of like
Mhm.
breathing super loudly into. He's just, oh, oh, the powerful Sith, you will become. I don't know what Ian McDermott was doing that day. I know he was sick.
But
He was kind of
whatever it
breathing,
was, was the right thing.
but it was magic. I know
Yes.
it works. So that is definitely good. I wonder, like, can
So funny.
someone recreate that? Can they recreate the magic? Like, I don't know if
Sure.
it's, like, looking forward to it and, like, it's an anticipation. I gotta see if they
Yeah.
gotta how can they match that? Are they gonna reinterpret it a different way? Are
Yeah.
they gonna actually do it, right? Because not assuming the person even seen Revenge of the Sith,
Sure.
and they're just reading
Sure.
lines and, perhaps they
Yeah.
interpret it a different way. And then the last one, which I might show some of my darker humor when it comes to this type of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But whoever's playing Anakin, if when he catches on fire, how will they play that scene out? Are they going to
Oh,
do the full
interesting.
scream? Are they going
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. That
ow,
wasn't
it
the scene I
hurts?
thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say Youngling. I was expecting Youngling,
Oh,
which I didn't think about till right now.
I didn't even think about that one either.
I don't
Huh.
even know. I don't even remember who I cast as the youngling, and I'm gonna go look right now.
I was gonna say
I'm
if
not
you were like gonna spoil that we actually found the kid, we tracked him down, we're
gonna.
flying him out
he
to LA.
he is oh god. Oh, that's very funny. The person I put in there is very funny.
Okay, great.
Great. Um, that kid is very active on Star Wars autograph Facebook groups.
Of course he is.
He loves posting, "Hey, I've got photos available if anybody wants them."
You got to make
You
your
gotta
money
make
somehow.
you gotta make your money. I don't blame him at all.
The kid, he's seeing an opportunity.
Uh huh.
I hope it's going to great. Like if he needs to fund his education,
Sure.
get a
Yeah.
college degree, maybe an associate's
Yeah.
degree at some trade school. Happy to
Yeah.
support.
Yep. Well,
um,
I'll connect you too.
Yes, yes, that would be perfect. Yeah, those are definitely the things I'm looking forward to. And again, it's the what am I not expecting that's going to
Yeah.
really surprise me at the end of the day that I'm going to be like, oh, I don't think I
Yeah.
expected to hear Padme's dad talk like Foghorn Leghorn. Like
Uh huh.
that stuck with me.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So that's my last question here. And again, you kind of wink nudge this answer already here, but speaking for myself, and I hope for others that have watched the live streams in the past, or perhaps were fortunate enough to be at one of the presentations, um, I hope this isn't the end of the live reads, and I think
Mhm.
that if all the powers align up, you're like, let's keep this train going here.
Yeah.
So what can fans of this and your work and this production really expect for the future, right? Is there like it sounds like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holiday special Ewok movies, Clone Wars micro series, Clone Wars
I think
movie.
look, I think everything's on the table.
Yeah, I love it.
And I would say hypothetically there may already be a date locked in for the next
Oh,
one.
you're speaking my language.
And tickets will probably be available at the end of this one as was the case with the last one.
Ooh.
But also, and this isn't finalized yet, but hypothetically at this moment, I would say that maybe one of the non-saga feature length things from Star Wars may be
Ooh.
happening in a city not Los Angeles.
Ooh, we're taking this on the road.
There may be something coming
Potentially.
on the road. Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I am super
In the
enthralled with
next
this.
in the next 2.5 months.
This is awesome. Wow. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Keep
I
an eye out.
I'm so excited, but also I'm like, man, this is even coming in 2 weeks. I can only imagine planning these
I
for
know.
the future in the next couple, like,
Uh-huh.
or you're already probably thinking through, like, you're playing chess with me here. You're like, I've already planning this person in this role, this person this role.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
get the space? Can we book this
Yeah.
city? Can we do this?
Yeah.
Take this thing on the road. I love it. I love it.
Look, I may already have things recorded from certain people for Rise of Skywalker. So just, we'll get there when we get there.
Hey, why rush a good thing? Let's enjoy Mustafar Takes
Exactly.
Los Angeles, have an eye towards the future. But November 16th is just around the corner. It's 2 weeks
Yes.
away.
Yes.
Live stream tickets are still available, and we'll have a link
Mhm.
for that in this episode description. I hope everyone takes up the opportunity to get those and check it out, whether it be the literally live streaming of it, or I believe it's available for a week afterwards of the
Mhm.
same link. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Perfect, perfect. No, yeah, like I said, we'll have that there. And Patrick, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
show
you.
to chat Mustafar Takes Los Angeles. I'm very excited about it. It's my favorite of the prequel films, so I'm so excited to see it
It's
come to
gonna be very
fruition
fun.
in this iteration. And where can the folks find you? I know you've got a very busy schedule over the next couple of weeks. I heard you on Blast
Yes.
Release pretty recently, and you're like, we got
Yes.
this coming up, we got this coming up, we got this coming up. So
And
where can the
I'll tell
folks
you,
find you?
even on Blast Points, we have since added more live
Oh
shows,
my gosh! Of
since then.
course.
When does this come out?
So this episode is coming out on Sunday, the 2nd.
Okay, great. Here's a full list of the George Lucas talk shows that are coming
Lay
up
it on us.
in the next few months. If you live in New Jersey, we're going to be at the Atlantic Highlands Smodcastle Cinema, which is Kevin Smith's
Wonderful.
movie
Yeah.
theater. We're going to be there with Kevin Smith and Chris Gethard on November 9th. Tickets are available on their website. If you are in Houston, Texas, we're going to be there on December 4th at a theater that I don't remember the name of at the moment.
Somewhere.
Hold on one second. I'm going to pull it up because I just okay, it's called the River Oaks Theater. The River Oaks
Sounds
Theater, it's a
awesome.
movie theater in Houston, Texas. December 4th. December 5th, we're going to be at the Austin Film Society in Austin, Texas.
Nice.
December 14th, we have 2 shows at the UCB Theater in New York. It's our holiday special shows. They're going to be big and wild and crazy. I'm flying in for them. We're doing an early and a late show, and those will also be live streamed. You can get those on the UCB website. End of January, we're going to be at a festival that takes place in San Francisco every year. It's not announced yet, so I'm not going to say
Okay.
it, but it is a festival that takes place all through the month of January, and it mostly has to do with sketch comedy. It's a festival that has to do with sketch comedy.
Perfect.
That I would say is probably the last weekend of January, first weekend of February. Hypothetically, there might be a few things there that weekend. I don't know. We'll find out. Just keep an eye out. And then
Yeah.
the next week, I think it's February 4th. It's Tuesday. And this you're getting exclusive here. We haven't talked about this anywhere.
Love it.
2 shows at the Dynasty Typewriter in Los Angeles. George Lucas Talk Show, all of that. That will also be live streamed. And then yeah, keep an eye out for the other live reads because those are coming up soon. And I think that's it. I'm
Woo.
pretty sure that is it.
Woo,
Also,
you got a busy schedule.
our show at the Bell House in New York with Jack Quaid, Tawny Newsome, and H. John Benjamin
Yeah.
just premiered on YouTube. You can go check that out on the George Lucas Talk Show YouTube. Also, our New York Comic Con show with Jason Aaron, Zach Cherry, and cartoonist Jeffrey Brown. It will probably be up by the time this goes up. If not, or maybe not by the time this goes up, but within the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So go check all those out. There's a lot of stuff going on Twitter, Patrick Cotner, on Instagram, Cotner. You know, the
Patrick,
usual.
returning champ. I am tired for you.
Returning champ. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But I'm sure it'll fly by super fast, and you're gonna knock it out of
Who
the
am I
park.
going to book in Houston? Who are the guests in Houston? I don't know who lives in Houston.
If you live in Houston, reach out.
Reach out. If you're a notable person who lives in Houston, reach out.
Oh my gosh, I do not envy this task for you.
It'll be
But
fun.
we definitely look forward to seeing these adventures play out. And thank you so much for coming back on the show. We will certainly find a way to get you back on the show, one way, shape,
Anytime.
or I've got a whiteboard here of ideas, and you can
That's great.
you fit into all of them. So like
I love it.
you're never going to
Anytime
be
you
too
need
far
me.
away.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
thank you so much again, Patrick, and to the folks listening at home. Thank you for listening, first and foremost. But second off, go to the episode description and check out the link for Mustafar Takes Los Angeles. Get that live stream ticket and check this thing out on November 16th. You won't regret it. And of course, we'll be here very soon, next week, with a brand new episode in the Star Wars Lucasfilm Galaxy.
Not with me.
Not with Patrick, unfortunately, but
No.
you're coming back sometime. We're getting you. Thanks again, folks, for listening, and may the force be with you. Take care.